Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today we are looking at the Victorinox Swiss Army 7, or sometimes also referred to as the Victorinox Harvester. What jumps out with this particular knife is that this one has a hawkbill blade or a pruning blade on it. Makes it very, very special. As a matter of fact, this particular implement is incredibly good. I wish there were more knives that had this on there. Let's get into the Victorinox Swiss Army 7, sometimes known as the Victorinox Harvester. So the specs on this knife, 3 ounces exactly is what this weighs. In fact, I think my scale actually had it tick under that at 2.99 ounces, but we'll just call it 3. That translates to 84 grams. Now, this is a 93 millimeter frame size, like all the medium size Alox version knives. So this is 93 millimeters overall length. That translates to 3 5/8 of an inch. It is 22 millimeters wide, or 7/8 of an inch. The depth on it is a 3-layer knife. I guess it's kind of 2.5 with the saw blade, because the saw blade doesn't take up kind of a full. It's more of a half of a layer, but the width on here is 14 millimeters or 9/16 of an inch. So this is a very, very pocketable model, just like most all of the medium-sized Aloxes. Let's get through the tool set of the Victorinox. What are we going to call it? We're going to call it the Swiss Army 7. We're going to call it the Harvester. Let's go with the Harvester. Let's get into the tool set. So I brought in the Victorinox Farmer and set down here below because these two knives are really closely related as far as what their tool set, their capabilities. A couple of key differences. First of all, the Farmer is going to have the key ring where the Harvester will not. And the second difference is going to be in that hawkbill blade that you get in the Harvester. Instead of that, you're going to get the can opener combination tool, which Victorinox is pretty well known for. It's one of their staple tools. You get that tool in the Farmer, but you get they switch it out for the Harvester. And if you're familiar with the Farmer, you're going to be real familiar with the size and weight, because these are exactly the same width, almost identical in weight, just almost to the decimal point. So let's get into the tool set. Okay, so the first thing is that the Farmer has, and you know what, I'm going to bring in, let's see here, I got the Tinker right here. Tinker's going to be good to show against a lot of this stuff because of some of the tools I want to show you. So on all the Alox version, they have the awl comes out the end of the knife as opposed to the center of the knife that you're going to get in your 91 millimeters. Also, it's curved over here. It really strengthens it up. And then they have a nice reaming edge along the edge here, and a nice sharp point. I like the fact that it's on the end of a knife as opposed to the center that you get in your normal 91 millimeters. It's going to be right in the center because it's a little bit more advantageous, in my opinion, to have it on the end of a knife as opposed to the center of the knife. We'll close that one up. Now the next tool is the knife blade. And the knife blades on the 93 millimeters are built a little bit more robust. Now this is going to be 2 7/16 of an inch. It's going to be just shy of 2.5 inches, which is, I personally like my knife blades to be about that size, about 2.5 inches, maybe a little bit larger, depending on what knife it's in. But for this knife, I think this is a perfect length for this one. So let's get the knife blade out on the Tinker real quick to show you one of the key differences between them. And this is the benefit to getting Alox version is you're going to get obviously the aluminum scales, but you're going to get bigger springs, and in the knife blade, you're going to be quite a bit more robust of a blade. If you look at the spine of that, the spine on the Alox version, a lot thicker than what you're going to get on your standard 91 millimeter. One of the reasons I like the Alox versions of knives. Then the next tool is going to be the saw blade. Now the saw blades on Victorinox knives, this is the exact thing that you'll get in the 91 millimeter. So if you're familiar at all with any of the Victorinox saw blades, they're just fantastic. They work great. They're Leatherman saw blades and Victorinox saw blades are right on par with one another. I personally think that the Leatherman cuts just slightly better, but the difference is so minute that if you didn't have them side by side, you would never know it. The next tool is a combination tool, and I want to bring that Tinker back in here again to show you the difference here. So just like on your 91 millimeters, it's going to open up into 90 degree. It's also going to lock into the fully open position. Now it comes with your large flat driver, your can opener, and then it has the wire stripper in there. Now the wire strippers are not, in my personal opinion, they're not that effective on Victorinox knives. I kind of wish they would rework them and make them a little bit more advantageous to working on or getting through wire stripping functionality of a little large gauge wire, because it's really small gauge that you can get in there. They do work, but they're just not quite on par with some of the other wire strippers out there. So the reason I wanted to bring Tinker in for this one too is because this is a key difference between these knives, between Alox and 91mm. You'll see that this one's quite a bit wider, it's quite a bit beefier on the Alox version. It's also just slightly thicker, so it's built a little bit better. And that's what's going to lend, you know, the back springs on these Alox versions are a lot snappier. And you can really tell it, especially in the knife blade, and then on models that have the scissors, you can really tell it on there as well. So you get a lot snappier blade, you get a lot snappier implements on the Alox version. They just feel a little bit more premium because, well, frankly, they are. Now the last tool on here is the one I'm most fond of, obviously, is this hawkbill blade or pruning blade. Now this is designed as a pruning blade. It's gonna be for doing like grafting work, or if you want to cut through little branches. Also works for, you know, as we mentioned before, for grafting. So if you're cutting around bark, that curved blade helps you hook into the bark, and it's really kind of a gardening tool. I'll tell you what though, what I found that, and let me just bring it in here, the Leatherman Wingman, I'm a big fan of the package opener, and I think that's a task that in today's world I do a lot, actually, because I open up a lot of clamshell packages. So this is a tool that when I did my Leatherman Surge, I wanted this in there, and so I ended up stealing one out of the Rev, and I added it to my Leatherman Surge, actually. So I put it in that T-shank, which actually has worked out really, really nicely. Now, I thought that this was the best package opener I had ever found. And as far as a dedicated package opener, it still is. But let me tell you something, it ain't got nothing on this hawkbill blade. This thing is absolutely fantastic. I think this is the best dual purpose little blade that I've seen. That little hawkbill is absolutely wonderful for opening up clamshell packages. Now I have several different multi-tools that either have what's called a dedicated package opener, or they have tools that double as a package opener. Well, actually I'm missing one too, because I'll tell you one that I really like too is the Victorinox Electrician. We'll just bring that one in here real quick. So this one works nice because it's a little draw cutter. So you can really guide this one nicely for doing package opening. Then you have the draw functionality on the serrated blade of some of your Leatherman tools. The Leatherman Wingman, the Leatherman Rev have this package opener, which I really like. The Free Series has a little box cutting package opener that's integrated into their driver. The Victorinox Executive has this little serrated blade. This called out as an orange peeler, but it works really well as a box cutter. The Gerber Dime has a pretty nice package opener on it. And then the Victorinox Mini Champ Alox that I have here. This one was really designed to be more of a pharmacist tool, where they would use it to be able to stick it inside of a pill bottle, twist it, and be able to pull out the cotton balls of a pill bottle. They've changed it. Over the years, not a lot of people need that particular task, so it's called an orange peeler now, but it also works as a pretty decent package opener itself. So in a later video, what we're going to do is we're going to test all these against one another, and these are just the models that I have. I'm sure there's some others out there that eventually I'll try to get my hands on, but I can tell you that I've used this a couple different times already. My goodness, is this a nice little blade for doing package opening, for doing clamshell package opening specifically. So this is the Victorinox Swiss Army 7, or otherwise known as the Victorinox Harvester. Now, what the tool that for me that stands out with this is going to be that hawkbill. Without doubt, that thing is, I like that blade a lot. And they made other models with this blade in them, and then they have one that specifically in today's world that you can get that is actually just a large hawkbill. They actually have a couple different sizes that is actually a pruning knife. But in the Alox version, they've actually had over the years a couple different models that had these. One of them was the Rancher. I don't know that that's in production anymore. The other one is the Victorinox, the Swiss Army 2, or the Pruner is what it's called. Now, I did find that one. I couldn't find it in US stores, but I found one in Germany and I ordered it. It's going to take like 2 months to get here, but I got one on the way. Now, what it is where the Rancher, what it was is it had all the same tools except it did not have this saw blade. And what the pruner is it is a single layer knife that has this blade and the hawkbill blade, which for what I'm wanting it for, I think that's an absolute must-have. I really, really enjoy this blade, so I think this makes a fabulous, fabulous package opener. At any rate, this is the Victorinox Swiss Army 7 or Victorinox Harvester. Great, great knife, and one you can get your hands on all day long. Links will be in the description below, actually for all the Alox models. And if you want to check out the Swiss Army 7, I really do recommend this one, as I do all of the Alox models. I think they're all fantastic. My name's Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.